From one guy confessing that he wants to kill his own brother because of what he has done, to another person having urges for his own mother. Reddit is a terrible, cursed place. And that's exactly why I'm gonna start reading it. I found out my brother is evil and I want to kill him. Sorry for how long this is, but I'm doing a throwaway for this one and I'm only saying everything that I feel is necessary. My older brother, 20, has always been quite disturbed. Diagnosed with Asperger's at a young age, was very mean and often violent towards me, 18 male, when we were young. He has made claims about being paranoid, having paranoid schizophrenia or even ASPD. At his core though, I've always thought he was a good person, just surrounded by a lot of flaws. And that while he often messes up opportunities and relationships, it's been because of his bad luck, violent tendencies, getting the best of him, etc. He's muscular, attractive, very talkative and intelligent. You wouldn't really guess that there was anything wrong until you got to know him better. He's black and white in his beliefs, but always talks in the interest of what is right. Strongly believes in the protection of innocent people and will proactively admit when he is wrong. His relationship with his girlfriend has always been very difficult for them both. He struggles with how forgetful and naive she can be. She struggles with how aggressive and controlling he can be. She cooks for him, cleans up after him, bends over backwards to help him. What do you mean by that? Is it like a saying? Like you're going out of your way to do something? Even driving him around for several hours a day. Several days a week when he was selling drugs, which put her in a lot of danger. And he wasn't even paying her for it. In her naivety, she has been very forgiving of him in the past to the point where she has learned to accept behaviors, such as him aggressively telling her to shut up when he gets irritated with her and other things. They've lived together for a while and it gives them both stability, but it's destructive as the frequent arguments stress them out a lot. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that deep down I've always known he's a good dude. Besides all the stuff that may make you think otherwise, yesterday that changed. 2 nights ago, he brought a girl to my family house in the early hours of the morning. While he doesn't live there, he is pretty welcome to come here if he wants to chill. This girl is a good friend of his who I have met before. Red flags went off when he asked me to reiterate to the girl that he and his girlfriend weren't together. It wasn't really my business and I doubted he was gonna cheat on his girlfriend or anything, and I remembered his girlfriend explaining a while ago how they weren't officially together but still did a lot of things couples do. So I agreed. I went to bed and got up for work and spoke to the girl who was still there. I only slept an hour or two, who had found out from my mom that my brother had lied to her saying he no longer lived with his girlfriend, which my mom corrected. Red flags intensify at this point. I go to work. From text I received from his girlfriend as well as conversations I had with her and my eldest brother, 21 male, I can confirm all of the following information. While I was at work, his girlfriend found out everything and came to our house to confront my brother about it. The girl had left by now. Because the two of them had actually been a proper item for some time now, he knew he was in the wrong. And when she began to raise her voice at him, he made cutting insults at her, swearing and saying extremely hurtful and venomous things. Then, grabbing her by the throat and choking her. Okay, that went crazy pretty quickly. She said how he'd lose her and his family over this. To which he responded, I don't care. He pushed her against our fridge, then pushed her in the face and the side of the head and headbutted her while she retaliated. Yo, this is escalating like crazy. What? My eldest brother, 21, heard what was happening from upstairs and immediately separated the two. She left out the front door and tried to drive away in her car when my brother got into it and was refusing to get out as she was telling him to. My eldest brother spotted what was happening and also tried to get my brother to get out, and after still protesting, my eldest brother punched him a few times in the face to get his point across. W brother, bro. W brother standing up for that random girl, bro. Holy crap. This led to a full-on fight with my older brother laying my other brother out in the middle of the road. My brother reached for a glass bottle at the end of it, and my eldest brother basically told my other brother that he wouldn't attack him with the bottle because he knew how it would turn out and that he was banished from our house. He was right. His girlfriend went home and my brother went God knows where. The things I knew of my brother that I had used in defending him for many years now clearly weren't the case anymore. I got home from work and met my brother's girlfriend at my house to discuss and console her. She took me through everything that had happened, and as she and my brother were now broken up, she shared some truths with me. What comes next may trigger some people. He had intercourse with her without consent, in a commonly understood fashion of not accepting when she said that she didn't want to. A handful of times, he, without consent, had intercourse with her. By having intercourse with her while she slept, with her often waking up to him doing her. Countless times in the relationship, he sexually overworked her to the point where they were having intercourse 4 or so times every day, which she was never okay with. She didn't say anything in fear of losing him, and I believe he gaslit her to think this way. He would often gaslight her by explaining that his violent outbursts were never as bad as she took them to be, that her derealization disorder would make her think things that weren't true, that the things he was doing were in some way defendable. The thing that disturbed me the most was that after the most recent time he forcefully had intercourse with her, he mentioned it the next day and laughed, saying, "I couldn't help it. Your genitals is just so heavenly." A quote which understandably had stuck with his girlfriend as well as myself. I also learned that several girls had accused him of unconsensual intercourse, which my girlfriend heard about and thought untrue. But looking back, most of them probably are. A few of these happened with ex-girlfriends, one with a girl that lived with us, and one particular offense involving him locking two girls inside our house and refusing to let them leave until he did with them as he wished. I'm having struggles reading this. This is a terrible story, holy. Now, admittedly, while I try to always believe the victim, especially when dealing with a character as destructive as my brother, his girlfriend could be fabricating stuff to make things look better from her perspective. I'll tell you why this isn't the case. My mother has told me that when he was younger, 8 or 10 years old, he once told her that he couldn't stop imagining horrible things in his head, especially things with her. What? Is OP telling us that his little brother had dirty thoughts with his own mother? Not too long after that, he innocuously offered my mom a massage and progressively kept getting near her private parts, after her telling him not to go to those places several times and him still doing so. It's clear from what my mom said that he wanted more than a massage. If that wasn't enough, and here's the big one, he sexually assaulted me for several years of my childhood. I don't remember when it started, but I think I was 12 when it stopped. I look back on it now and I see how he found very manipulative and subtle ways to get me to do what he wanted, often behaving incredibly cruelly when he felt more empowered. I wish so much that I had told my parents, because he could have got the help he's always needed and now refuses to get it. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself for that. Someone get that bro locked up properly? Yeah, we still got a lot more to go, but this is already terrible. To summarize, after learning everything I had and coming to realize that the only reason he started things with this other girl was because he found someone that could do the favors his girlfriend was doing, but better. It unlocked the truth of who he is within me. He never loved his girlfriend. He never loved us. My brother is a monster that has no genuine compassion or empathy for anyone and will only keep people in his life that will serve some kind of purpose. He is evil. He revels in evil things and he lives only to create evil. On this basis, not for me or for my or anyone else's past, but I want to kill him. I want to stop him from ever doing to others what he has done to so many. Deep down, I know that I can't. I probably never would, but it will always bother me knowing that he's still out there. If you've read this whole thing, I can't really explain how much it means to me. I have bottled a lot of this trauma up for many years, and all interactions are much appreciated. Spreading love and positivity to you all, X. The fact OP blames themselves for not telling their parents what happened to them is just heartbreaking. It's really hard with all this context and knowing all the things this guy have done to still somehow blame yourself to a degree. Like, no, I don't understand it. I'm assuming he's saying it from an angle that if he would have said something or did something at that point in time, that he could have saved other people as well. Still, that's not a reason to blame yourself. Asperger's. I don't think Asperger's does any of this. I don't know about schizophrenia or ASPD. What is ASPD? ASPD is antisocial personality disorder. Mental health condition marked by long-term pattern of ignoring, breaking, or disregarding the rights and feelings of other people. I don't want mental illness excusing the things that people do, but that goes pretty hand in hand about what he has done. Yo, I feel so bad for the people that have been included in this. And the fact that this person, OP, has been living with this for so long, just keeping it in. Some people live absolutely terrible lives. I don't blame OP for having those thoughts, honestly. I don't think murder is the answer for everything, and maybe also not for this case, but this guy definitely deserves to be punished somehow. The fact that he's not in prison as well is crazy, but the amount of proof you have on him, I'm guessing his family didn't want to, like, report him, or why did the girl that got abused by him not report him? How is he still out there? That is insane. Sometimes victims feel shame for reporting this behavior, especially when mental health is involved. But the mother knows about this, multiple brothers, I think multiple girls have been victim of this guy. At some point, how hasn't karma gotten him? How has he not gotten his karma yet? How has he not been sentenced or something? Like, how? It's so absurd to me. I hope this guy gets caught pretty soon. I'm a serial stalker. I am not dangerous and have no bad intentions. I just find something about watching someone without them knowing to be strangely erotic and fascinating. It is difficult now with so many cameras be able to capture you. Luckily, I am in a country where it's not common, only at businesses and shops. So this is not hard for me. I have followed people home, always men, and I'm good to not be detected. I don't always get a view, but when blinds are open, I like to watch them do normal tasks. Nothing even inappropriate. Cleaning, cooking, eating, watching television, or when I'm lucky to see them laying in bed if they never shut blinds at night. I have also pretended to be a friend or girlfriend of deceased men. This first happened after I tried to track someone down and contact him, as I found him attractive and I wanted to interact. I thought he would be willing because I'm at least fairly conventionally attractive. I discovered he was dead after I found his Facebook, messaged many of his friends and got a response. It happened to be his close friend who told me he had passed away just a year before. I told him that I had a relationship with him and even had a child with him. Yo, this is such a terrible thing to do to someone who already lost their best friend, then just to start making stuff up like this. This is not even stalking, this is just harassing other people. I didn't really gain anything from it, not physically, aside from some internal thrill and satisfaction. Since then, I kind of like to infiltrate lives of men who are deceased. It's hard to do, as you have to manage to contact their loved ones and convince them. I seldom do it, but I find it highly gratifying. I've even attended funerals of men, convinced widows that I was their lover, convinced families that I knew their dead loved one. I think it's hard for me to relate to others. I look normal, but internally it's hard for me to socialize, so it doesn't really explain why I would be willing to interact with someone's relatives, for example. And I haven't managed to get an explanation for myself. It is something I'm still trying to understand. Stalking in itself is a weird thing to do, and there's many different stages of stalking. And at first I thought, okay, this is a low-level stalker, a little following men around just for their own thrill. But when they started including people's families of their dead relatives, their dead best friends, and then making up stuff, maybe giving them hope that there's a child of him somewhere out there, that is so heartbreaking for those people who have already lived with the grief of their loved ones dying, and then that wound gets reopened or something for your thrill. That is so sad. Contacting families is crossing a huge line. Oh my god. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. At this point, it's not even stalking. It's like, there needs to be another word for this. I got the fact that we are the same species as these people. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying with every one of these confessions. How were people like this out there? It really do be crazy how different people's lives can be, or how dumb people can actually be. And also, just lacking empathy. So many people do not have empathy, or they're just selfish. Straight up just evil. Yep, exactly. Let's go to the next evil confession. Pretty sure my ex-boyfriend had intercourse and maybe still is having intercourse with his own mother. I used to have this friend. We'll call him Brian. He and I dated when we were in 7th and 8th grades. It wasn't a serious relationship. We were too young for that, but we dated. We kind of drifted apart after middle school. Leave moms alone. They do everything for us. Who knows, the mom is into this as well. I've read crazy stories about this. Sometimes it's the mom initiating. One week during senior year of high school, he's just sort of disappeared, gone without a trace. Nobody seemed to know what happened. He just dropped off the face of the earth. His best friend had no idea and couldn't get in touch with him. He even jilted his would-be prom date. As you can imagine, there were lots of rumors, everything from him dying to him going to jail, etc. But the big rumor that got passed around the most was that his dad caught he and his mom en flagrante. Chad, I don't speak French. I I probably didn't pronounce that right, and I don't know what it means. But I'm guessing the dad caught him and his mom fondling around with each other. I thought it was just a dumb rumor, because it's obvious to see why that sort of rumor would be popular even if it isn't true. Plus, I knew Brian and his mom, and it just didn't seem likely. They were very normal, upper middle class, not like toothless rednecks or anything. Oh yeah, and who does that? Going to jail for murder seemed way more likely than that. Anyways, after college, I moved to a really tiny city in a rural area halfway across the country. Literally thousands of miles from where I grew up, because I effing love mountains, and also nobody can afford to live where I grew up anymore. This weekend, I went to a Target in a different town that I don't usually go to. Guess who I saw there? Yep, and they were acting, you know, familiar. They didn't kiss or anything, but it was unmistakable. Way too much touching, hand holding, that sort of thing. I stalked them around the store for a bit, just because I was so intensely curious, and even out into the parking lot to get a look at them without masks on. I'm guessing this is also a post from the COVID era. It was definitely them. Thankfully, they didn't notice me. I look a lot different now, which helps. Plus, I was wearing a mask and sunglasses. Really weird, just like, I'm in shock. I don't know, I've been dying to tell someone, but I'm not close to many people from high school anymore. The only friend I still talk to really is dramatic, and I know she can't keep a secret. And even though I would sooner die than having intercourse with my mom or dad, I don't necessarily want to ruin Brian's life or whatever, or ruin it any more than it already has been. I was thinking about telling my roommate, but to be honest, I don't like her that much. So I'm telling you all this piece of juicy gossip instead. I know it means way less to you than it does to me, but there it is. Anyways, the world is a effed up place. So this guy disappeared randomly in like 8th or 9th grade, or I don't know, maybe a little bit later, and seeing your ex is one thing, but seeing your ex with his own mother is something I don't think you will ever forget. I wonder how this big rumor passed around. It must be that some people knew about it somehow, because all those years back they were saying him and his mom, or his dad apparently caught him and his mom together having fun. Not only is it his with his mother, which is just genuinely weird, but this guy was in like 8th or 9th grade. Bro, he was like how old are you? 14? Poor dad. I feel so bad about myself for bringing such creature onto this planet and universe. Bro, you lost your own wife and your son at that point. That's like your whole life must collapse if you catch something like that. We got some extra context here. No, he's not adopted that I know of. I doubt he secretly is based on how they look, but who knows? Yes, it's very gross. To the people saying I don't have any hard proof, you're right, but I'm not just basing this off them holding hands. They were acting like a couple in ways that are hard to describe, but you know when you see it. Maybe some people act this way with their parents. I definitely don't, but they didn't act that way together when I knew them. And add that to the old rumor and I'm pretty convinced. Yeah, this story is a yikes. The fact that he also just randomly dipped school has some meaning to it, so I would rather believe the side that, yeah, he sadly is having fun with his own mother. Yes, she probably groomed and without consent had intercourse with him, though like I said, I never saw any evidence of anything weird when we were dating. Also, he had other girlfriends in high school. If I could call the cops and have him sent to psychotherapy, I would, but I googled around and it looks like he would just go to jail, which I don't think would help anyone. Plus, I don't know what I would tell them. Yeah, I mean, there's not really anything you can do about this. You know, it's bad when incest is a palate cleanser to the other stories. Yeah, we're having some wild stories today. Alright, let's just go to the next confession. I killed a lizard on purpose when I was young, and I still feel guilty and evil. I don't even remember it very well now. What I do know is I was probably a little under 10 years old. Maybe younger than that though. 5 to 9 years maybe. I used to like to go out and catch the lizards that would crawl around the walls and bricks outside the house. And then I'd usually just hold them for a while, or put them in one of those little mesh and plastic bug catcher toys and carry them around for a bit. I don't know why I did it. I doubt they were happy about it, but most of the time I tried to be careful, or at least harbor no purposeful malice towards them. So just fun to catch and hold them, I guess. I have no idea what prompted this one time. All I remember is that it happened. Maybe it bit me too hard and the light pain was enough to make my child self mad and violent. Maybe it went deeper and like some part of me was angry or afraid from something else and just wanted to feel powerful. Whatever way I could, I wish I knew why I did it. I didn't do anything too gory story, thank God, but I remember trying to shake it around hard in a container and eventually filling the container with some water, I guess, to drown it. I hate having to write it out. I'm so sorry, little lizard. Maybe somehow you made it through and I didn't realize. I hope you did. I do remember that even back then I felt immediate crushing guilt as soon as I was done. I remember now breaking down crying when I realized what exactly I did and burying it out in the yard. It was like waking up from some possession. I don't think I ever told anybody though. I don't know what was or is wrong with me that made me act that way. I was just carelessly exploring or anything like that. Like kids who cut up bugs just to see what happens without thinking about the animal. I feel so incongruent with who I am now. I major in environmental science, but I'm looking to focus on animal conservation and evolution, or animal behavioral science if I'm lucky. I try to treat animals with respect and put good out into the world for them. Just today, I took a bunch of cat food to the shelter as a holiday donation. I love my animal friends more than anything. I read and talk incessantly about the minds and lives of other species. Of course, all this just sounds like I'm trying to reverse what I said and prove what a great person I am. I don't know why I did it. That's the kind of thing budding serial killers do, so I don't understand how some version of me ever thought to do that while still growing up into who I am now. Maybe that's the worst part. It is that it sort of makes no sense to me, but it doesn't matter if it does or not because it's still there in the past and it still haunts me. It's nice how they turned their whole life forward into helping animals after killing one lizard. Although I once stepped on a snail accidentally like a decade ago and still think about it. I think that one is a little bit less bad than drowning a lizard, but you're also very terrible, Annie. How could you do something like that? Come on, what are you doing? I guess they were very young, at an age of like 5 to 10 years old. I mean, do you really know what you're doing? I don't think they're like a budding serial killer or whatever. A serial killer would have chopped its head off and then kept it as a little trophy or something, or would like be laughing while they're doing it. Bro, I knew of some kid who told me it was with bugs, and some people don't really care about bugs, but he was like laughing maniacally while killing bugs and stuff and just slicing them open in weird ways. That sounds like a serial killer to me, alright? And he didn't even turn into one, I hope. This is still very weird, but I'm glad she decided to turn her life around and is now actually trying to learn about animals and trying to donate to animals. Very odd indeed, but I think they made amends, lol. At least now that they're older and they have a functioning frontal lobe, they're actually putting good out into the world. And maybe this event, not trying to excuse it, but maybe this event made them behave better in their now life and made sure that now they're doing more good. Trying to find the good in stuff, guys. I know, it's... Yeah, I don't think she should still live with the guilt. At this point, just try to be your best self and try to make amends. Try to do good for life. Character development, at least. The fact that she felt guilt immediately after doing that as well says a lot about the person. Even if they're like a little kid. I do think that says a lot. It's not to dwell on the past, but everyone does. I feel like it's just part of the process to improve. I agree. Hey, if you don't like your past, then try not to be like your past. Big D tips, guys. Big D tips. Alright, let's go to the next confession now. Found out my mom was having an affair with my uncle, plus found her explicit pictures. Don't know what to do. For the past few weeks, I noticed my mom and my uncle, her brother-in-law, thankfully not her blood brother, but still, talking on the phone and texting a lot every day. It felt unusual. So one day I checked her WhatsApp. I found chats where my uncle was talking dirty about her body, especially about her genitals. They were clearly having an affair. Later, I went through the recycle bin in her gallery and found explicit pictures of her. Pictures of her breasts and her genitals. After seeing all that, I ended up touching myself to the photos. I feel conflicted about that part. Yes, you should feel conflicted about that. Why did we go there? I thought this was gonna be a story about your mom and your uncle. What? Huh? Out of nowhere to your own mother? Now they mostly use WhatsApp and delete the chats regularly. So it's hard for me to keep track of what's going on. I've been confused about what to do. At different points, I thought about confronting her, telling my dad, even darker ideas, which I now realize are stupid. Right now, I've decided to stay quiet and just observe, but I don't know if that's the right long-term decision. Family of doom? Yo, this whole family is cooked. I'm not sure what I want. Do I keep the secret forever? Do I eventually tell my dad? Do I confront my mom privately? Or just try to move on and ignore it? Has anyone been in a similar situation? What would you do if you found out your mom was cheating with a relative and you also found her private photos? I don't know how I can read their chats. Any honest advice is appreciated appreciated. Edit. I am confused. I have a small brother. We both are aware about this and we do not want them to split. It would be a lifetime trauma for me and him too. Yo, if you're touching yourself to your own mother's pictures, I don't want to know what you mean by even darker ideas. Like I said in the story, I thought this was gonna be about his parents and then he just dropped that nuclear bomb in the middle as if it's like nothing. Oh yeah, I feel conflicted about touching myself to my mother's pictures, but anyways, what should I do? I came back, what did I miss? Nothing. At this point, just tell your dad. That's a broken marriage anyways, and I feel like it's a ticking time bomb. Eventually, he will find out anyways. I mean, it's double the amount of people you can find out from. It's his own brother and his wife. Like, that's twice the chance it will get leaked. It's crap complaining about poop. Yeah, no, that's exactly. Everyone is terrible, bro. I don't even want to help you. Let's just go to the next confession. I stalked my fiance to get him to ask me out. He has no idea. I searched for this topic and found a few threads, but they all look fake, so I thought I'd share my real confession. Please don't judge. I'm a fairly attractive woman, but I'm picky. I get approached by men, but I always found something wrong with them until I met N. I was at work and my supervisor was being mean. N worked closely with me but only in emergency situations. I won't reveal our specialties by the off chance he sees this. He spoke up for me. I looked at him and physically he's everything I wanted in a man. Tall, muscular, dimples, and he had the fiancé part down. Let's just say in a few years he'll earn a lot. Not to say I'm a gold digger, but I want to be comfortable. So I decided to put more effort at work for him to notice me. I did my hair, makeup, etc. He did. He eventually did notice me. I caught him looking my way a few times, but he never spoke to me. Finally, I got his name. I looked him up online. The more I discovered, the more I wanted him. We were both raised by single mothers. We lived a couple minutes from each other as children, like the same sport team, shows, etc. I began to imagine a life with him, but if only he'd approach me. I didn't plan to stalk him at first. I thought it was just a crush that would go away. I tried dating other guys and kept thinking of him. I felt like I was in an episode of You because I felt a strong urge to get to know him. So during my free time, I would stalk him online and one thing led to another. I found his mother's Facebook. I figured out where she went to church. I signed up for that church. I also found his address online. So I picked up a per diem gig at a coffee shop literally down the block from their apartment. I didn't need a job. I had a career already, but I needed an excuse to run into him. One day, I saw his mother carrying bags to her walk-up. I hurried to help her and mentioned I recognized her from church. I introduced myself and helped her with her bags. She was very kind. Then every Sunday at church, I'd say hi to her and we started sitting next to each other since I came alone and she was the only person I knew. At this point, about 6 months has gone by and N no longer works at my job and I never saw him again. I knew he'd like to fish, so I brought a book about fishing. I wrote, if lost, please return to S. Seriously, I'm trying to learn how to fish. LOL. I wrote my IG handle and phone number on it. At this point, I stopped working at that shop but never told his mom I quit and grew closer to her. She spoke about her son a lot. I learned so much about him and even his work schedule. This is why I knew when to ring her bell. I came up with the excuse that I locked my phone inside the store and had no way to order an Uber home. She welcomed me in and N was there. He looked at me like I'm someone he knew, but he couldn't pinpoint it. I said hi and didn't push for a conversation. I mostly talked to his mom, making sure to mention I need to go home right away to watch X game on TV, knowing it's his favorite team. And I accidentally left my book there that evening. Guess what? He texted me the next day about the book and says he'd be willing to take me fishing, and the rest is history. We've been together 1.5 years, engaged last month. Honestly, we just work. And he did notice me, lol. He claims he was too shy to approach me and then he switched buildings and never saw me again. He thinks it was fate that brought us together, shaking my head. I am so happy with him and I'm aware I can never tell him this though. Yeah, right, fate. I do feel like if you tell him, he will definitely leave you because that is a massive red flag. That's crazy level of obsessed. At this point, if you guys are happy together, You guys do you, like a year long or half year long, just worked up to become friends with his mother through signing up to a church you never go to, and then accidentally seeing her and helping her up the stairs. Like, that was not an accident. You were definitely waiting there for something to happen. You were hoping something would happen. No way. If he found out I'd be going around the world away from him, yeah, that would be insane shame. There's a whole level of stalking. Like, they got the idea from the show You, I swear. I think they mentioned the show You, which I feel like has influenced them a little bit. Just a little bit, guys. I guess it's better than the last story we read about stalking. I mean, if they're happy, it's whatever. I can't lie, this is a lot of details to put in a confessions post, even if it's your throwaway. You put their initials and like that you went to a church and that you... It's a lot of details. If someone in his family finds this, that's gonna be a lot of drama. Weird story. Let's see what the next one is. I had a fling with my mother-in-law for 8 days. Oh god, we have another mother love story. Mother-in-law, less bad as your own mother, but let's read this terrible story as well. Honestly, I have never been able to tell anyone I know about this, and I want to get it off my chest. I'm posting it here because I don't really consider it a today I effed up content. I'll explain. Last year, when the second wave of COVID was kicking up, my wife, 28 female, and I, 33 male, were living in a cozy little 2-bedroom apartment near a large city in the northeast. We had been married for 2 years and things were going pretty good, honestly. One day she tells me that her single mother lost her job due to layoffs and she's struggling really financially. She asked if she could stay with us for a while till she got back on her feet. Her mom, 48 female, is a really sweet lady and they had a decent relationship. I was hesitant, but what would I do if it were my mom, right? So mother-in-law moves in. Honestly, it was great having her around. She cooked a lot and kept the house picked up. She would hang out with us and watch movies, but generally gave us our space too. Honestly, I thought it was going fine, but that clearly wasn't the case. A few weeks turned into 3 months, and this is where things went south. My wife and mother-in-law started bickering with each other a lot. We had stopped having intercourse because she was on edge all the time, as she said she didn't feel comfortable having intercourse with her mom in the house. About the same time, she started spending a lot more time out with friends and working longer hours, or so I thought. In reality, no surprise to anyone reading this, she was having an affair. How I found out was pretty awesome. Now I'm curious, that's an interesting way to describe an affair that your wife is having. A buddy has seen them out at a bar making out. He said they then got into an Uber together and left, and he sent me a picture of them kissing practically in real time. Ooh, yikes, that must have hurt. I don't know about awesome. Honestly, I just broke down. Mother-in-law comes out and tries to ask what's wrong. Is everything okay? Oh my god, did something happen to Jenny? I told her Jenny was fine and I just needed some space. When Jenny finally got home, all hell broke loose. I hadn't planned on confronting her right then, but she demanded to know what was wrong. She could tell I'd been crying. She just would not let up. So I said, F it, and showed her the picture. She looked like a ghost. Started yelling that isn't her, hint it was, and we proceeded to just drag this cat through the mud right in front of mother-in-law. She blamed her mom. Wait, why is she blaming her mom? What? This doesn't even make sense. And then blamed COVID. Gets into an argument with both of us. Mom takes my side. Jenny packs a bag and tells us both to go to hell. The next day she tells me she is staying with a friend for a while and she needs some space. Yeah, I'm not stupid, so I didn't ask which one. And that's what she did. We texted sporadically and she came by to get a few things after a few days, but it was just me and mother-in-law in the house most of the time. And one night we are just sitting there watching a movie. I'm having some bonbon, she's drinking wine, I'm telling her how hard this has been, and she goes to pet my leg, then just never moves her hand. At this point, it's been over a month since I've had intercourse. I'm guessing longer for her, and it just happens. I look up at her, she leaned in, and that was it. I read it, and let me tell you, experience counts. I had never been with a woman who was so sexually confident. She knew exactly what she wanted and it was crazy good chemistry. Despite being a little older and not my typical attraction, it was amazing. Yes, we both talked about how guilty it made us feel, but that didn't stop us from going at it like newlyweds for the next 8 days anytime I wasn't at work. Honestly, as horrible as it sounds, it was exactly the distraction I needed. Something to look forward to. At first we slept in different beds, just in case, but eventually I stayed in the extra bedroom with her twice. twice. In hindsight, that was risky as hell, but I was a mess and probably didn't care as much as I should have. Now, you aren't going to love this part, but 2 weeks in, Jenny calls. She wants to talk. Against my better judgment, I said, okay. She fessed up to everything. I did not. She apologized, cried, begged, and in the end, I agreed to see a marriage counselor. Yo, why are you trying to save this mess while you have done what you have done and she has done what she has done? If you're going to a marriage counselor, you might as well drop your part as well. She says she wants to come back home, and that's what she did. Mother-in-law moved out shortly after that and went to go live with a friend of hers in Florida, where she had gotten a job offer, actually making more than her previous position. Jenny and I tried to make it work, but in the end, I knew that I just couldn't get past it. I still love her, but I could never trust her again, and that's no way to spend the next 50 years. It was just too much. I filed for divorce at the beginning of 2022, the hardest day of my life, and considering all of the text and the pictures I had, she agreed not to contest it, and we are waiting for it to be finalized. I moved in with a buddy who was glad for the help with rent, and mother-in-law added me on Facebook last week. I'm not saying I'm going to the beach anytime soon, but I'm saying once all this is over, I am not going to the beach. I think we know what he means by beach. That marriage is cooked. You could say that. There was no point saving that, and maybe he already knew that there was no point in saving that marriage, so that's why he didn't tell her, because it would also break her relationship with her own mother, which is not on him. I feel like the mother should confess if anything. If he was petty, he could have said that to make her sad, but I mean, like he says, he was married with her. He still loves her. Like, why would you want to hurt your loved one, even if you're fighting for divorce? I mean, there's no reason for him to say that, and definitely not now. Yeah, but it's even crazy that you tried, like, accepted her back after all that. Like, what were you thinking at the time? Like, there's no way of saving that, but I guess people just need extra time to actually think to these things and then realize, yeah, I'm not gonna spend 50 years like this. I would tell her, get out of my house and eat ice cream. Ice cream would solve all of this. If ever, hopefully never, if ever your partner cheats on you, just eat some ice cream. My dad got away with murder. Years before I was born, my dad was married and had 2 kids already. One night, he and his wife went out for a date night and he came home alone. He claimed the next morning that his wife has been with him, but he was gone that morning, even though the babysitter swears up and down she never saw the wife. Apparently, in the past, she had gone to the hospital with broken bones and bruises from his abuse. So he was basically the one and only suspect. They found blood in the car too. A few days later, they found a suitcase with her things just conveniently sitting by the side of the road at a nearby rest stop. And when asked, my dad was somehow able to tell them what all was in it. He claimed he could tell what was missing from the house, but honestly, what husband can describe their wife's belongings and knows when it's missing? They ended up deciding there wasn't enough evidence. Shortly after, my dad sold the house, packed the kids, and booked it out of town. He married my mom, had me and my sister, and was an abusive a-hole. He's also the definition of a narcissist and pathological liar. They didn't tell us about his past and the fact that he was suspected of murder until I was 16 years old. And that was just because the wife's sister was hiring a private detective to reopen the case. I 100% believe he did it, and I'm hoping he doesn't decide to kill me off someday too. He hates me, so who knows? Bro probably did it. I don't think it's even a probably. I'm gonna be honest, it's 100%. Murder is terrible, but like, I feel like you can already feel a certain way about your dad, knowing that he put his ex-wife in the hospital with broken bones and stuff. And well, I guess he was also abusive to OP and his current wife, so if you're that abusive, that wouldn't surprise me at all. The fact more than 16 years have gone by and no murderer has been found, and you have such an obvious suspect, this is really suspicious how he got away with all this. And I hope he gets caught, because yo, you're doing a terrible job as a dad if your own daughter is scared you're gonna kill her someday. Why did the mom not tell her kids about that this is his past? And why is she even with a guy like this? I mean, maybe she is a victim herself as well, and she's scared if she would say anything, he would do something, right? It's just scary stuff, guys. I could not live with that fear. Exactly, your dad is supposed to be the person you hang on to, you latch on to, your safe space, right? And if that's the exact person you're scared of, he will always be in your life. I mean, you're 16 16 years old. You're stuck with him. That's scary. Yikes, Chad. Yikes. Let's go to the next confession. I just want to get some things off my chest. This is a list of all the worst things I've ever done. First of all, I am a 16-year-old girl. I live a pretty happy and simple life, but I am also really insecure and screw up a lot. I've been addicted to the internet since I was about 11. I usually spend about 14 to 16 hours a day on it, and when I'm not, I'm browsing the web on my phone. I have a very typical home life, so I don't think there's anything in particular other than pure curiosity that drove me to do these things. Okay, here goes. When I was about 11 to 13, I often let my dog lick me to get off. This was not what I was expecting, guys. He would be absolutely willing and would simply lick my genitals until I came. And sometimes I would get excited and play with his genitals too. Yeah, I'm gonna skip those details. And just thinking about it now disgusts me. I'm not into bestiality at all. I also once played with a close friend's dog's balls. I was 12. I have harmed myself since 7th grade, on and off. It started with my shoulder and lasted until mid-8th grade, until my mom found out. I stopped for a few months. This was when my anxiety depression was at its peak, when I started medication, but started again on my upper thigh. I do it about once a month and there's a lot of ugly scars. It's now more of a habit than anything. I have struggled with mild bulimia. What is bulimia, chat? Bulimia is a serious mental health condition and eating disorder. It involves a repeated cycle of eating a very large amount of food in a short time, called a binge, and then trying to force the food back out or stop weight gain, called purging. Sometimes when I eat too much, I throw up, but it also makes the blood vessels around my eyes pop and causes little red dots to appear on my face. Since I broke down and told my mom what the reason for the dots were before she was going to take me to the doctor, I've been a lot more cautious about what I eat. I'm slightly underweight, but I still have a lot of body issues. Since the age of 13-14, I have occasionally shown my body and touched myself on webcam. I started with just dirty texting on Omegle, but eventually moved on to video chat. I have done it maybe 15 or so separate times at most, and now around 150 people have seen my naked body. The worst guilt came last night when I was browsing 4chan. Yeah, this is where it all goes wrong, guys. If you're on that website, especially at that age, or any age, yeah, please watch your kids when they are on the internet. When I was browsing 4chan and got brave and decided to check out /b/. I do this very rarely. There was a tiny chat going on and I joined it. Another cute girl was there, so it encouraged me to join. I started with the breasts or get the F out, and it moved on to Sharpie in the pooper, etc. What? Chat, why are we laughing at this? This is serious. That's an interesting one. There were 80 people in that room at the most crowded part until it was closed by moderators. That was the most people I ever shown my body to at once. I guess the reason I did it wasn't to get off, but to get attention. I love it when I receive compliments, and getting people off was just exciting. After it was over, my heart kind of just sank and I felt really guilty. All today, memories keep coming back from the chat room and I just feel so dirty and immoral. I've shown all of my body, including my face for the most part, to multiple members of what many people consider to be the worst place on the internet. I just want some comfort or something, or similar stories, or maybe how to just stop all of this and start fresh somehow. Get therapy? Yeah, that's how you stop all of this. Not saying it's instant. Bro, it's so sad that someone like a 16-year-old girl can get in a situation like this. You need help. You need someone looking out for you, because apparently your parents are not looking out. What are your parents doing? Where are they? I think some parents are just AFK. They're inactive. They're just, what are they doing? This is so sad, because this is a kid, guys. Started since 13 or 11 maybe. Doing that stuff with the dog at 11 as well. That's even worse, because like what you do on the internet, I guess the parents don't watch what you do on your phone or whatever. Where were the parents? Are they not watching the dog too? What? Huh? How irresponsible are these people? This screams neglect to me in so many ways as well. I mean, kids nowadays go outside less, sure, right? And people are on the internet, people are gaming a lot, whatever. But when you're 11, doing stuff like this, 16 hours a day on the internet, that's the entire day. You sleep the rest of the 8 hours. This is what a lot of parents do nowadays. Hey, I have kids. Here's your tablet. And then that's it. They don't have to parent anymore. They she just never go to school? It wouldn't surprise me with this level of neglect. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Raised by the internet. Bro, I was still playing with dolls at 11. I was probably still catching some bugs outside as well. But hey, chat, I might just be an unk. I might just be an unk. Maybe this is the new thing kids do. No, this feels terrible, and I hope she gets the help she needs. I want to judge her for whatever she did with the dog and stuff, but I'm gonna fully judge the parents here. Like, this is so sad. I'm so... This one actually hurts me. This is a kid, guys. Let's go to the last story now. Urges for my mother. My mom used to be a stripper when I was a teenager, between the ages of 14 and 17. And she would tease and flirt with me. Alright, already going on an insane start. Alright, she let me feel her butt. She made me bodyguard her strip shows. She slept next to me wearing a stripper thong and bra. She even bought me corn magazines and looked at them with me when I was 16. Even after the stripping stopped, she continued to tease me at the hands of her special medicine infested boyfriends, all while she watched, and some juvenile incarceration time also. Anyways, back to the topic. This led to me having incest lust cravings towards my mom for a very long time, 10 plus years. After she stopped stripping, over the years I did all kinds of perverted acts, like flashing her with my hard genitals, coping a feel, intentionally getting caught, touching myself while not stopping, and most recently sending her mother/son incest caption pictures on Facebook. I even fully confessed very emotionally that I love her and want to have intercourse with her in order to be closer to her all because I love her so much. All of this was in person and face to face. I was completely losing control of my urges, but still I have never forced myself on her. I'm practically 30 now and I have recently developed cancer. The doctors have told me that I needed to go to chemotherapy. My mom got worried sick when she heard the news. However, I seen this as an opportunity to blackmail my mom into having intercourse with me. Chat, I don't know if I can handle these stories anymore. I don't know if I can handle it anymore. I would not go to the treatments unless we could have intercourse, or at least perform some dirty favors. Honestly, the whole plan has made me feel sick on the inside and I haven't been able to eat for a couple days. But I have dreamed about having intercourse with my mother for so long that I wanted/still want to see my grand fantasy through to the end. Anyways, things blew up today and I finally confronted her about all the teasing and flirting that she did with me when I was younger. She denied it all and says that I am delusional. And she may have a point because my mind may have twisted those long past scenarios to suit my lust need for my mother. Honestly, it's either you're delusional or she's gaslit you like a crazy amount. I would believe that she gaslit you, to be honest. However, on the other hand, I remember some scenarios perfectly clear. So maybe she is delusional and blocking it out of her mind because she doesn't want to accept it. Anyways, I do not know what to do now and I am totally lost. I feel like my mind is falling apart and I am starting to lose touch with reality. I'm having thoughts about ending my life and trouble differentiating right from wrong. It's like one side of my mind says that this is wrong and I should feel guilt, but the other side is telling me to keep pursuing it. Classic parent denying it all? Yeah, no, I think she's just coping and being delusional. The fact that he remembers other moments very clearly, I very much doubt that this stuff didn't happen to him. I mean, having a mother and her being a stripper is already like a terrible childhood. I think a lot of his thoughts have to do with his upbringing. If his mom didn't plant this seed in his mind, he wouldn't have been so obsessed with this idea. Like, I'm not saying what he's doing is right by any means, but I understand how that much trauma can really F with your brain. Whatever he's thinking is terrible, and him using his cancer to get what he wants is even worse. This is definitely because of what the mother has brought into his childhood when he was still an innocent child. Abusive boyfriends and the teasing she may have done herself. This is so sad. This guy should get his chemotherapy, should get a real girlfriend and stop contact with his mother. I think that's just for the best. How hard it is to lose contact with your mother, I don't think you see her as a mother anymore anyways. This is the only way. Get chemotherapy, get psychotherapy as well, get all the therapies. Try to live your life normally. Try to somehow heal from this. These stories, I might need to rest for months from these stories. These have been terrible. So anyways, I'll see you guys in 4 days.